What is up? This is Brian of Conspiracy Beers coming to you with another video. Today we're going to talk about CNN's hit piece on flat earthers. That's right, CNN just did a hit piece on flat earthers, even though it's the most ridiculous and dumbest thing you can ever say, those words, flat earth. They are making hit pieces about us. And you kind of have to ask yourself, why? If it is that ridiculous, and we are that dumb, well, why are they making hit pieces about it? Why are they making such a big fuss about it? Does that mean that this is probably an important topic here? Could it possibly be because it's a movement that is trucking along right now, and more people are waking up to this truth, or at least the truth that they don't live on a spinning ball? That's the truth that we can all come to if we do our due diligence. So why are they making these hit pieces? And I'm going to kind of dive into kind of some of the things that were said in the video, kind of my thoughts on it. And then I'm going to kind of guide you into looking into some real flat earth documentaries that are not hit pieces, that are good information for you to actually watch and come up with your own conclusions, right? That way you can see both sides of the fence here. Okay? So in this hit piece, and this is the same with all the hit pieces they've done. This isn't the first one. There's one called Behind the Curve. National Geographic has done a hit piece. ABC's done hit pieces. All these fake news media outlets have done hit pieces on flat earth. And this is what I mean by a hit piece. So what they do is they'll take us out of context, and they will kind of piece together all these sound bites, or whatever you want to call them, just to try to make us look stupid. And it's easy to do that with anybody. You can really do that to anybody, to the most intelligent person. You can make them look like a stark raving lunatic when you take them out of context. And that's what they do all the time here. The other thing is, and this is what's in common with all these hit piece documentaries, or whatever you want to call them, you'll notice that they always mention Flat Earth Society. It's literally like probably the first thing that they talk about. What is this Flat Earth Society, and why are they talking about it? Because I've been a flat earther, or at least I've called myself a flat earther for 5 years now, and I haven't met one person that ties themselves to the Flat Earth Society. I've been to flat earth conferences. I've watched hundreds of debates. I've watched thousands of hours of flat earth videos. None of them ever tie themselves to the Flat Earth Society. What the Flat Earth Society is, what we have found out many years ago, is that they are a controlled opposition. It's a psyop. It's literally put out there to deter open-minded people away from Flat Earth altogether. So when they are promoting this Flat Earth Society, and they'll say it several times in these hit pieces, to kind of program your mind to look into it, so that when you go online and you search for Flat Earth, you search Flat Earth Society. And what that brings up is a bunch of nonsense, right? Stuff that flat earthers don't believe in. It's a bunch of straw man arguments, like, for one, like we live on a disk that rises 9.8 meters a second, or some crazy crap like that. None of us believe that, right? So it's all straw man arguments made to make us look stupid, so that when an open-minded person goes to check it out, they instantly laugh at it and throw it all away and never look at it again. That's what it's controlled to do. And what's crazy is, like 3 years ago, maybe even a little over 2 years ago, you could actually go online and search for Flat Earth on YouTube, for instance, and you would find Flat Earth videos. And you would find a lot of content. And after you watched a pro Flat Earth video, YouTube would feed you another pro Flat Earth video. And literally you can sit and you can watch pro Flat Earth videos all day long. Well, today, and this is admitted, and this is one thing that they did admit in the CNN hit piece, is that they put a hex on that about a couple of years ago. They started changing the algorithms to censor flat earth videos to a point where when now if you go look for flat earth videos, you're seeing the debunking flat earth videos. Not only that, they're going to continually feed you those debunking flat earth videos now. And you can't even find the pro flat earth videos if you search the actual keywords to a certain video. Like I've made a couple of videos and I tried to find my video by putting in the exact title of the video with my name in it, and I still can't find it. But it'll lead me to the debunking flat earth videos. So they have completely censored it. So that's another thing that kind of makes you go, why are they censoring this? I mean, if it's so ridiculous and so stupid, why are they making a big deal about it? And why are they censoring it? And why are they leading people psychologically to the Flat Earth Society, right? That none of us believe. Straw man arguments. Why are they doing all this? And it's because Flat Earth is on the grow. It's on the rise, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop because people are getting curious, especially after all this COVID crap going on right now. People have opened their eyes. People are starting to really see that they're being lied to, and they're questioning things. They're going back to certain events, like the New York event. I'm not going to mention it because I can lose my YouTube channel if I mention these things. But certain events that happened in New York in 2001, right? They're going back to these events and they're seeing things that they never saw before, and they're coming to the conclusion that, hey, our government pretty much lies to us at every turn. And they have since the beginning of time. Every war that's ever been started on a lie. That's just the truth. So that's why they're leading people to this Flat Earth Society, and they're deterring people away from it, from this conversation altogether, the best that they can. But they can't control it 100% because we're smarter. We can figure out how to work around the algorithms, and we still have content out there. It's hard to find now, but it is out there. And I'm going to leave some links underneath the video. I'll leave the CNN link under here, and I'll also leave some pro flat earth documentaries and stuff like that, like Flatten the Curve that just came out. It's a concoction of subject matter experts like pilots, helicopter pilots, ship navigation specialists, missile experts. It's a concoction of people who are flat earthers, who are pretty much they're either military or they're engineers or they're pilots, right? It's an awesome hour-and-a-half long documentary to give you a different perspective. So if you're open-minded, what I want you to do is not believe a thing that I'm saying, but do your own research and look at everything, right? But just be mindful that when you're watching one of these fake news outlets like CNN, ABC, MSNBC, even Fox, you know, when they do these hit pieces, just know, and now that we're talking about it here, you can kind of go into it and say, yeah, Brian was right. They are leading people astray here, and they're telling lies. Like another one of the lies in the CNN hit piece was that flat earthers really don't believe in flat earth, that they're just doing it for the money. That's so far from the truth, man. I know people who have been putting out flat earth content for 7-8 years, and they don't make hardly squat. Maybe they make a couple $100 a month, and that's just from the flat earth community, just, you know, being the generous community that they are, supporting the content that they're putting out. They're not making enough money to like buy a car or buy a house. So the truth is, if you want to make money, join the ball side, the people who believe in the globe, who are doing the anti-flat earth videos, the debunking flat earth videos. Those guys are getting paid, and they're admitting that they're getting paid, like your Simon Dans and your Not a Professor Daves. They admit that they're getting paid, and they look like they're getting paid pretty handsomely because they got all the fancy gadgets and, you know, the computers and the electronics. And you can tell all their videos are so commercialized, like they're being funded. They're being funded. They're not doing all this on their own dime, and they admit it. So if you really want to make money, join that side, not the flat earth side, because you're just going to get laughed at and ridiculed. You're not going to make any money that way, I promise. So that was just an outright lie. And then they go on to call us Nazis and a cult. And then it gets really weird at the end of this hit piece. They start talking about how you can gently try to get a flat earther out of their cult, right? Out of their cult by being generous and nice and not making fun of them. And so they psychologically they're telling you, like, this is a cult. You need to help these flat earthers because they're being brainwashed, and we need to be mindful of them and help them get back to reality. It's so psychological, guys. And it doesn't take a genius to figure this stuff out. Cult, that's so funny, because literally, like, flat earthers disagree on just about everything. And one of the first things about a cult is you have to all believe in the same thing. And there's a leader, there's a hierarchy, like the Catholic Church, for instance, okay? Like just about any church, right? Or the military, there's a hierarchy, right? There's a leader up there that everybody's listening to, and we all had to believe the same thing or we're shunned. Flat Earth is the exact opposite. We have so many problems within our own community because we all believe in something different, because that's true science. You're going to have these disbeliefs when you're actually doing real science, and everybody's doing their own observations and research and coming to different conclusions based on what they observe. That's called science. What a cult is, scientism, for instance, is you're not allowed to think outside the box here. Like if you do, you're going to be shunned, and we're going to kick you out, and you're not going to have a platform to speak from anymore. That is a cult. Scientism is a cult, and mainstream science is so bad that, like, you know, the people who do try to come out and speak against it end up losing their jobs. And then they're not only ridiculed, but they're made to look like they're just outright crazy. So you can kind of understand why so many people don't want to come out and talk about these things, because they don't want the ridicule. Flat earthers didn't wake up and say, I wonder what the heck I can do that I could just, you know, have everybody just laugh at me, you know? What is it that I can do or become when I wake up in the morning, I'm just being laughed at and called an uneducated moron every single day, called crazy. Nobody wants that, right? So you have to ask yourself, why is it, what is it about these flat earthers? Why are they so willing to put, I won't say that they're not putting their lives on the line, but they're putting their character on the line. They're putting their, they're throwing themselves out there against a world who's so brainwashed and programmed to believe in the opposite direction that they believe in. Why? You got to ask yourself why. What is it? Why are these flat earthers doing this? Why are they putting themselves out there like that? And it's because we really, honestly, truly believe that this is a very important topic, and it's obviously so to them too, or they wouldn't be making these hit pieces and diverting people to look this way and distracting them from actually coming and seeing the real material. We're going to show them the fake material, right? So it's got to be important to them too. I can go on, I can rant all day, but I wanted to kind of keep this video within at least 15 minutes. But here's what I'll leave you with. Don't believe a thing that I'm saying. Go do your own research, right? And just remember, condemnation before investigation is the height of all ignorance. I, too, laughed at flat earthers over 5 years ago. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing. My exact thoughts when I first heard it was, man, I'm listening to a bunch of uneducated, white trash, living in a damn mobile home, rednecks, right? That was my initial thoughts. Like, these people just didn't go to school. They just didn't get an education. And then it kind of graduated into, because you go through phases, right? You go through these phases. So first you laugh at it, and then after a while you get kind of like me, and you get curious, and you wonder why so many people are falling for this psyop or this cult, right? You do have that thought in the beginning, is that these people are part of a cult. You don't realize you're actually part of the cult. You've been brainwashed your whole life. You've been programmed. So you dive into it thinking, I want to know why these people are falling for this. And then you watch the first video. And if you're anything like me, after the first video, I watched like a 3-hour YouTube video on the subject. And probably about halfway through it, I was like, these flat earthers, they make some good points here. They got some good arguments. They're not that crazy. They're not stupid. They're raising some good points. I just need to look into this more, right? So that's where you'll leave if you're anything like me after you watch a couple of videos, and then that'll graduate into, the Earth can't be flat. It can't. These guys they haven't figured out the answers to their questions yet. Maybe I need to go and I need to figure out the answers to their questions. So you start going down that rabbit hole, and then you get to a point where you're like, damn, I've got more questions than answers, but it still can't be flat. It just can't. And people will be coming out talking about this. They can never lie about something this big. It would never. You can't keep a secret like that. So you graduate from that, and then you get into, damn, it might be flat. It might be flat. And then you graduate from it might be flat to, yeah, it's flat. Now what do I do with it? Where do I go from here? And then you get, after about 4 to 5 years, in my opinion, this is just what it took me, to a point where you're like, damn, I don't want to be quiet about this anymore. I want to share this news with everybody. I want to get this information out there. And to a point where now I laugh at where I used to be, and I think of how ridiculous it was that I thought that I lived on a spinning space ball, a gaseous space ball, in an ever-expanding vacuum, spinning at 1,000 miles, traveling 1 million miles a day, going in an elliptical orbit around the sun over 66,000 miles an hour at the same time, traveling sideways through the universe at over 1.2 million miles. Once you actually know the religion of the heliocentric model, and you realize it is a religion, because that's what it is, you realize how stupid it is and how ignorant you were to believe it without ever questioning it, right? Without ever questioning it. And I'm not saying that I've arrived anywhere. I still have lots of questions. I don't know what this world is that we live in. I just know what it's not at this point. And you can tell what something is not without knowing exactly what it is. It's very simple. Like, for instance, if I'm looking out about 50 yards, maybe, let's go a little further, maybe 1,000 yards, and I'm looking at a small object that's coming across the road in front of me, I could tell that it's a small object, right? I can rule out that it's not a grizzly bear because it's not big, it's small. So, but I can't rule out, is it a squirrel? Is it a cat? Is it an armadillo? Is it a small dog? I can't rule those things out because they're small. But I can rule out it's not a grizzly bear. It's not a whale. Right? So we can tell what it's not. Or we could tell what it's not without telling exactly what it is. Make sense? Okay. So before you laugh, just investigate, man. Don't come to the argument until you have, because I can tell you firsthand, I made that mistake. My exact words to flat earthers were they were unfit for humanity. I literally called somebody. I literally said that to somebody once, and I wish to God I knew who it was that I said that to, because I would apologize today for it. Because look at me today. Now I'm one of those crazies that I thought was just the most ridiculous thing in the world. So, do your own research. Come to your own conclusions. What you're going to find out is that you've been lied to, and there's a lot of questions to be answered, and that's how you get started. That's how you begin your journey to discovering truth. With that, I'll see you guys on the next video. This is Brian, the Conspiracy Beer, signing out. Peace.